Great question here. Welcome to my Q&A channel, everybody. How to best practice after a lesson? Such a good question. Something I thought about for so long and still do now. For me, it's got to be a mixture of block practice. So block practice, repeat, 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 repeat. Drill, repeat, drill, repeat. Like, just how much can I work whatever movement in to a point where I start seeing a different result. But then what I also got to do is not to forget to apply that to situations. So this is my A time, which I'll hit a lot kind of when working on different forts, feeling about, say, I'm thinking about the way I get my forces pulling in the ground, pushing in the ground. I'll do it a lot with like a medium iron. But then if I get on a golf course and I pick up, say, my hybrid for me is a club I feel I function quite well with, and I start doing it and I haven't got a clue how it feels because I'm not practicing with this, well, I've just destroyed one of my skills. So I'm trying to add a skill, move differently, but then I've just gone and affected another one. So I need to make sure that the skill I'm practicing, so if it's a takeaway, a shoulder turn, a hip turn, the way you're pushing in the ground, a grip change, whatever it is, I've got to do a certain amount of block to try and make that feel comfortable, but I've got to remember to try and also apply it to different clubs and then in turn in situations, because let's say I'm using this fort at the moment, I'm feeling about really pulling this back to get out of this lead foot so I don't keep my verticals basically, just not to get too complicated, in my lead foot. But if I'm doing that on a downhill slope and I now top the ball, which is something I'd never do, well, that's not helping me, is it? Because it's got to work across the board. So a combination of block practice over, doing, repeat, doing on and off course. I'll do it in front of mirrors at home, those kind of things. While at the same time then trying to blend it across clubs and situations, which sometimes means trying to do it out on the course as early as you can as well, to see if it actually can be applied in a situation where you're worried about where the ball might go, all those kind of things. And then the last point of the question, it's how do you know if it's working? Well, all changes you make should be applied to what you're trying to achieve. So if you're trying to achieve lower scores, then your scores will tell you if it's working. If you're trying to achieve more speed, so something I'm trying to do, get more speed, to then see if that lowers my scores. So I can't get my scores lower until I get the speed to then put it on the course to see if it lowers my scores. I measure it. I'm going to constantly measure where I can. I know that's difficult for guys and girls at home who haven't got access to their own personal launch monitors. I get that. But then going and checking in a lesson after a week, a month, 2 months, whatever it is of practice, where you feel like, has the needle shift? Go and measure, because your feels often are not real. So my goal with my swing movement, this is my A time, I want it swinging 90 mile an hour or plus. So that's what I'm rating my performance on, and that swung at 91.5 miles an hour. So my movement has shifted the needle for an A time for me, where I would have used to swing this at like 84. Can I now hit target? Next question. Now can I do that out on the course? That's the next question. Can I now do it with the different clubs? I've got to still try and work that in. And this is where your question is so brilliant and often not thought about with golfers. To shift a needle for lots of people, subject to how kind of that zero your needle is or not, takes time, and to have time to do all those things I'm saying is tough. I get that. So it's going to take you longer to shift the needle if you haven't got the opportunity to measure as much as you like, or apply it to on the course as much as you like because you're snowed out for 3 months of the year or whatever it is. So you just got to be realistic with what you can do as well. Hope that helps. How to practice after a lesson, certain amount of block, apply it to different clubs, and then apply it to real situations. And report back to your coach. Make sure you're having lessons with a coach who will communicate with you, even if that means buying their slightly more expensive package. Go through the process with them. Don't try to getting people out of the habit, if they can, of having like a one-off half-an-hour lesson and think that's their golf swing fix. I've been trying to work on that for years with coaches, and it's such an old-fashioned model. I know costs can be an issue, and I get that. But trying to get some deals with a coach where you can communicate, send a video, talk to them to say about the process you're going through, and they'll say, oh, don't go down that road. Students have tried that. Make sure you stay on this path that we set you on, is also a great way of continuing that learning process. Hope this helps.